fans!
Welcome to Just Comics!
Welcome.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Seth, and this is my pick, Miss Marvel's No Normal, a book that Steve is especially excited for.
For those of you that are new to Just Comics, we read the books, then we review the books, and then we'll rate the books based off of story and art.
That was one less book than last time. Congratulations, Steve.
I try.
Good job. I know some of you are just MCU fans. You probably watched the Miss Marvel show. You went, hey, isn't that the one with the girl with the light-up hands? No, absolutely not. Hell no. No way in hell. No, it's a horrible, horrible misrepresentation of the character. They only did that because they thought that people would mistake her for Mr. Fantastic, which is stupid because her powers are like polymorphy. Like, she can change her freaking shape into other people, and he's a stretch man who can stretch. It's a totally different power set, which is like barely any overlap. So TV show, not a fan. This, fan.
I will say that there's some holes in the story. There's some pacing issues, but overall it was a pretty smooth read. I could definitely see how Kamala has her fan base. Like, she is a likable character. But I have to say, not a lot happens in these 5 issues.
I mean, there really isn't. It works great as an introduction to Kamala Khan as a character. We get a training montage. We get a Birdman.
Not quite a bird. Not quite a person. Maybe what matters is to love yourself first and soar. Child of air and land. With wings and hands. Yes, you're a bird and a person. I'm a bird and a person and more.
And there's even a kidnapping, sort of. But mostly it's just, Kamala being Kamala in what's more or less a 5-issue slice of life.
That's a good way to put it. Now that you mention it, that feels right.
Yeah, and I'm a consummate slice of life fan. I mean, I enjoy a good slice of life novel, and I guess also now a good slice of life comic.
So the book starts out with Kamala and her friends, and for some reason it has to make a food joke because every comic around this time period started out with food jokes at the beginning or the end, and it was so annoying.
Yeah, but this specific food joke actually works because Kamala is staring down a BLT like she wants to eat it, but she can't. She can only smell it because bacon is unclean. Pork is not halal.
I found most of the characters to be lacking in the character department, actually. Bruno being the only exception to that, except at first he was still coming up short in the character department.
Yeah, he's also kind of a dickhead. I mean, he sees that she snuck out to a party, and he calls her parents. Like, she tried to get permission. She asked her father, and being the father of a 16-year-old girl, he asked if there would be boys, and she, of course, said, yeah, there will be. And he said, absolutely not.
So she ends up going to the party regardless, and one of those shallow people we met in the beginning goes ahead and gets her to drink some alcohol. She doesn't swallow, she spits it out.
Yes, it's years, some orange juice, and vodka!
That sip of alcohol is what gets Kamala to leave the party and walk into a mysterious mist that's just completely unexplained. We're just kind of wondering what's going on. I mean, she's tripping balls.
Like, she's seeing things. Basically, her consciousness is giving her a choice whether or not she wants to keep going as she is or if she wants to become something else. And she's still kind of high on the Terrigen, too. Like, she's, like, I can be big, and I'm small. Oh, my God, there's a roach. And then she's like, oh, no, a person drowned.
I mean, she even knew to say embiggen out of nowhere and then disembiggen.
Oh, it's intuitively. She figured she said embiggen before. Disembiggen was going to be the next thing. But I get what you're saying. Like, where do these words come from? There's no explanation. But it's because it's a comic format. If we were reading it as a light novel, we would have more of her narration, her thoughts. But because of the format, there's not a lot of that.
I read a lot of comics.
And it's also not a 1960s Spider-Man, so there's a lot less words on the page.
But again, you have 5 issues. You can give us more.
You can stretch, yeah.
And
stretch it out, you mean?
Sure. So she's sneaking back in, and we're getting a little bit of backstory about her sneaking in and out here.
Like, she's done it twice before. Once just to see if she could, and the second time because Harry Potter.
So We can get backstory on how she sneaks in and out, but we can't get any on the Embiggen, Disembiggen.
You're not going to drop that, are you?
No. And of course, the parents are freaking out, but more so the mom.
You mean she's being a drama mama?
She blows off Bruno because she's upset with him because, as you put it, he ratted her out. So the next day at school, she's kind of ignoring him, but she's freaking out a little bit. Her hand starts growing on her.
Yeah.
She has an accident at school.
She embiggens. I think this is one of those cases where she's just overthinking things. Like, she thinks, well, if I can get really small, and then boom!
I mean, she does get it back under control after a bit, and,
Well, yeah, but, I mean, that's after she, turns into her mom.
Well, Freud.
It's very Freudian. Oh, man, I do love a good Freudian slip.
Now, not a word to your mom about me getting canned.
What's that, Peter?
Nothing. Oh, the lost my job smells great.
What?
Meg, honey, can you pass the fired my ass for negligence?
Peter, are you feeling okay?
I feel great. I haven't got a job in the world.
I did like how you were following Kamala through, like, the existential crises that she's having through all of this. I thought that was well done and well written.
Mm-hmm.
But again...
Yeah, the reason why it's called No Normal is because she just wants to be a normal girl who, like, eats BLTs and goes to parties, has a boyfriend or a girlfriend or whatever. And then she gets powers, and she's absolutely still not normal.
Yep.
So Bruno has a brother who's a bit of a dick, and he wants some money.
He actually wants Bruno to steal from his job.
It's not stealing if you work there, Steve.
According to the idiot who goes to his brother's job with a gun.
Yeah, but it's not loaded, Steve.
Then how does Camilla get shot?
Oh, I guess it was loaded after all.
Yeah. So yeah, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
But after Kamala gets shot, he takes off.
Yeah, but not before mentioning the inventor.
So Vic lets his brother go, before he calls the ambulance. He doesn't want to get in trouble. He's trying to look out for him. This is also when Kamala reveals herself.
And she doesn't want to get involved with the ambulance. So she changes back, and that's when she realizes that she has super healing. But she can't change again while healing because it hurts like heck. So she has to use a sleeping mask with holes in it. And when the police come around saying they're looking for someone with big powers, she makes herself grow and says, I have big powers.
So she decides, hey, Bruno, you're smart. Help me design a costume.
And she knows that he has a super polymer agent, which is referred to as super snot, which can stretch.
So it gets out that Vic said the inventor's name on camera, and he wasn't supposed to do that, so he gets shoved into a stash house.
Now, although it's not mentioned in this volume, the stash house is actually a stash house for mutants.
See, this is what I'm talking about. There's holes in the writing.
It's mentioned in this volume.
Yeah, but with so little happening.
Yeah, and I get it. They could have mentioned this volume.
So she gets her butt handed to her by these little robot things.
She smashes through the first one, no problem. But then they start shooting lasers at her, and she's just not ready for lasers yet.
Yeah, I can see that. So she gets her butt kicked, and then she gets her butt out of there because it's getting kicked.
So she ends up sneaking back home again, and again, she gets caught.
And the mom is just, I can't even.
Oh my gosh, she is so can't even. Come on, you are ruining this family. How could you do this to us? You're destroying us.
So the dad is one of my favorite characters in this book. You can tell he really loves his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And this part here is where he sits her down after they caught her sneaking out again. And he's telling her the story of how she got her name.
Yeah, like how her name means perfection. Which again, if you just watch the TV show, it is not Marvel. Like that scene where he sits her down and he goes, oh yes, your name means Marvel. And she goes, oh really? And then they cut away, Miss Marvel. Like, I can get why they did that. Like, okay, sure. But, I mean, it's a bit of a stretch. Ah! Stretch! I'm having to do this on purpose.
So the training montage comes up because after she went into the stash house, she realized she just was not ready for this. It was a nice touch to see her going through this. Like, I could hear the Rocky music playing as I'm reading this. She steps in gerbil poo.
She turns into a mannequin and scares the crap out of Bruno.
Stuff a teenager would do. So she has a better plan this time. She shrinks down really small, sneaks in there, busts up a few of the toys, grabs the brother, grows really big and gets the heck out of there. And as she passes Bruno, she just tells them to get out of there because they're a coming.
And then the next day, there's a Miss Marvel effigy outside the Circle Q, along with a sign that says Birdman cometh, which is an allusion to the villain, the Inventor, who is threatening her. And honestly, he's not so much angry that Doyle let some little girl escape. He's upset because he let a new superhero escape who is creating her own urban legend. And it's just going to cause more trouble for him than he was looking for.
So not too much happens after this. She basically is just like, he can't do that. Jersey's got their own superhero now.
Yeah, so she's doing this in front of a crowd in her full persona, in her full costume, declaring herself Miss Marvel, and then to make the point, she polymorphs away by growing her legs super long and crossing the street and sitting all stride. And she's probably jaywalking.
Not so fast.
But we're in a hurry, Batman!
Jaywalking is extremely hazardous.
Gosh, yes, you're right, Batman.
Quickly, Robin, to the crosswalk.
Hey, fans, guess what it's time for?
Comic book reviews.
So when it comes to the story, really just Kamala and her family were the only things that were written well, so I'm only going to give it 3 stars. On the art, it's not my favorite style, but it does kind of remind me of some of the European artists, so I'm going to give that 3.5 stars. So how am I going to rate the book? It is not a must-read. There's just too many holes in this story, too many things that are unexplained. If you were a first-time reader coming into this, you would be completely lost if you didn't have any prior knowledge of the Marvel Universe and what was going on at this time in the book. So, no, it's enjoyable as far as that slice of life Seth mentioned earlier in the video, where it's just Kamala and her family. So if you're into that, go ahead, pick it up, of course, but no, it's not a must-read. All right, Seth?
Thank you, Steve. So story-wise, I'm going to give it 4 stars, because I do enjoy me a good slice of life. Art-wise, I'll actually give it 5 stars, because I like the little bit of detail that's put in, and how on Thomas Edison, the inventor, they show his eyes as black pits of evil. Some of the choices with the characters, how they have large heads or weird bodies, is an interesting decision, but it doesn't really change my enjoyment of the story overall. If you're an MCU fan and you watch the Miss Marvel show and you're going to watch the Marvels when it comes out like I am, and you want to know more about this plucky young character, Kamala Khan, who in the TV show is played by Iman Vellani, who did an excellent job embodying the character, even though they completely eviscerated her power set, making her basically a knockoff Green Lantern. I would say it's a must-read, truly.
And that puts an end to the second ever Just Comics video. We're a new channel, so we greatly appreciate any help that anybody can give us. And you may be asking yourself, how could somebody help us out, Seth?
Well, Steve, if you thought to yourself, wow, these guys are pretty funny, I really like this video, you can click the like button. If you're thinking to yourself, I want to listen to more of their stuff, you can click subscribe. And if you're thinking, hey, I wonder when the next video is going to come out, you can go ahead and click the bell icon so you get the notification so you know. Help us out, people. And if you want to eviscerate Steve in the comments, do so. I moderate them, and if it's good enough, I'll applaud you.
Yes, Seth does moderate the comments, so feel free to roast him as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a lot of dad jokes.
Yeah, I know, like 100.5 elephant jokes. The half is because I don't remember how it ends.
And on that note, that puts this video to an end, so you guys have a good one.
Yes, have a great whatever time of day it is for you, and join us next time on Just Comics. Hey, Steve.
Hey, Seth?
What's the difference between an elephant and a plum?
What?
What's the difference between an elephant and a plum?
One's a fruit?
No, the plum's purple. Hang on with me here. What does Tarzan say when he sees elephants coming over the horizon?
Get the out of the way?
Nah, he says, look, there are elephants coming over the horizon. What does Jane say when she sees elephants coming over the horizon?
Tarzan, get the fuck out of the way.
No, she says, here comes the plums. She's colorblind.